Genesis chapter 26. And a famine was in the land, besides the famine which was in the days of Abraham. And Isaac went to Abimelech, king of the Philistines, to Gerar. And Jehovah appeared to him, and said, Do not go down into Egypt. Stay in the land which I shall say to you. Stay in this land, and I will be with you, and bless you. For to you and to your seed I will give all these lands. And I will cause to rise my oath which I swore to your father Abraham. And I will increase your seed like the stars of the heavens. And I will give to your seed all these lands. And all the nations of the earth shall bless themselves in your seed, because Abraham listened to my voice, and heeded my charge, my commands, my statutes, and my laws. And Isaac lived in Gerar, and the men of the place asked about his wife. And he said, She is my sister. For he was afraid to say, My wife, lest the men of the place kill me on account of Rebekah, for she was beautiful of form. And it happened when his days were many to him there, that Abimelech, king of the Philistines, looked through the window and saw, and behold, Isaac was sporting with his wife Rebekah. And Abimelech called Isaac and said, See, surely she is your wife. And how have you said, She is my sister? And Isaac said to him, Because I said, Lest I die on account of her. And Abimelech said, What is this you have done to us? One of the people had almost lain with your wife, and you would have caused to come on us guilt. And Abimelech commanded all the people, saying, Anyone touching this man and his wife shall surely be put to death. And Isaac sowed in that land, and 100-fold was found in that year, and Jehovah blessed him. And the man grew great, and he went on, going on to be great, until he became exceedingly great, and possession of flocks, and possessions of herds, and many slaves were his. And the Philistines envied him, and all the wells which the slaves of his father dug in the days of his father Abraham, the Philistines had stopped them, and filled them with dirt. And Abimelech said to Isaac, Go from us, for you are stronger than we. And Isaac went from there, and camped in Gerar valley, and lived there. And Isaac returned and dug the wells of water, which they had dug in the days of his father Abraham. And the Philistines had stopped them after the death of Abraham. And he called names to them like the names which his father had called them. And Isaac's slaves dug in the torrent bed, and they found there a well of living water. And the shepherds of Gerar fought with the shepherds of Isaac, saying, The water is ours. And he called the name of the well Contention, Esek, for they had contended with him. And they dug another well, and they also fought over it. And he called its name Opposition, Sitnah. And he moved from there and dug another well, and they did not fight over it. And he called its name Broad Places, Rehovot. And he said, For now Jehovah has broadened for us, and we shall be fruitful in the land. And he went from there to Beersheba, and Jehovah appeared to him in the same night, and said, I am the God of your father Abraham. Do not fear, for I am with you, and I will bless you, and increase your seed, because of my servant Abraham. And he built an altar there, and called on the name of Jehovah. And he pitched his tent there, and the slaves of Isaac dug a well there. And Abimelech went to him from Gerar, and his aide Ahuzat, and Phicol, the general of his army. And Isaac said to them, Why have you come to me, since you hate me, and sent me away from you? And they said, We have plainly seen that Jehovah has been with you, and we have said, Let there be an oath now between us and you, and let us cut a covenant with you, whether you will do with us evil, as we did not touch you, and as we did only good to you, and we sent you away in peace, you now being blessed of Jehovah. And he made a feast for them, and they ate and drank, and they started up early at dawn, and each swore to his brother. And Isaac sent them away, and they left him in peace. And it happened on that day Isaac's slaves came and told him about the well which they had dug, and said to him, We found water. And he called it Shiva. So the name of the city is Beersheba until this day. And Esau was a son of 40 years, and he took a wife, Judith, Yehudit, the daughter of Beeri the Hittite, also Basemath, the daughter of Elon the Hittite, and they were a grief of spirit to Isaac and to Rebekah. Matthew chapter 26. And it happened when Jesus finished all these sayings, he said to his disciples, You know that the Passover is coming after 2 days, and the Son of Man is betrayed to be crucified. Then the chief priests and the scribes and the elders of the people were assembled to the court of the high priest, the one named Caiaphas. And they plotted together in order that they might seize Jesus by guile and kill him. But they said, Not during the feast, that there be no uproar among the people. And Jesus, being in Bethany, in Simon the leper's house, a woman came to him, having an alabaster vial of ointment, very precious. And she poured it on his head as he reclined. But seeing his disciples were indignant, saying, For what is this waste? For this ointment could have been sold for much, and be given to the poor. But knowing, Jesus said to them, Why do you cause trouble to the woman? For she worked a good work toward me. For you always have the poor with you, but you do not always have me. For in putting this ointment on my body, she did it in order to bury me. Truly I say to you, wherever this gospel is proclaimed in all the world, what she did also will be spoken of as a memorial of her. Then one of the 12, the one named Judas Iscariot, going to the chief priests, said, What will you give to me, and I will deliver him up to you? And they weighed to him 30 silver pieces. And from then he sought opportunity that he might betray him. And on the first day of unleavened bread, the disciples came to Jesus, saying to him, Where do you desire we should prepare for you to eat the Passover? And he said, Go into the city to a certain one, and say to him, The teacher says, My time is near. To you I will prepare the Passover with my disciples." And the disciples did as Jesus ordered them, and prepared the Passover. And evening coming, he reclined with the 12, and as they were eating, he said, "Truly, I say to you, that one of you will betray me." And grieving exceedingly, they began to say to him, each of them, "Lord, am I the one?" But answering he said, "The one dipping the hand with me in the dish will betray me. Indeed, the Son of Man goes as it has been written about him. But woe to that man by whom the Son of Man is betrayed. It were good for him if that man was never born." And answering the one betraying him, Judas said, "Am I not the one, Rabbi?" And he said to him, "You said it." And as they ate, taking the bread and blessing it, Jesus broke and gave to the disciples, and said, "Take, eat, this is my body." And taking the cup and giving thanks, he gave to them, saying, "Drink all of it, for this is my blood of the new covenant, which concerning many is being poured out for forgiveness of sins. But I say to you, I will not at all drink of this fruit of the vine after this, until that day when I drink it new with you in the kingdom of my Father." And singing a hymn, they went into the Mount of Olives. Then Jesus said to them, "You all will be offended in me during this night, for it has been written, I will smite the shepherd, and the sheep of the flock will be scattered. But after my resurrection, I will go before you into Galilee." And answering, Peter said to him, "Even if all will be offended in you, I will never be offended." Jesus said to him, "Truly I say to you, during this night, before the cock crows, you will deny me 3 times." Peter said to him, "Even if it were necessary for me to die with you, I will in no way deny you." And all the disciples said the same. Then Jesus came with them to a place called Gethsemane, and he said to the disciples, "Sit here, until going away I shall pray there." And taking along Peter and the 2 sons of Zebedee, he began to grieve and to be deeply troubled. Then he said to them, "My soul is deeply grieved, even unto death. Stay here and watch with me." And going forward a little, he fell on his face, praying and saying, "My Father, if it is possible, let this cup pass from me. Yet not as I will, but as you will." And he came to the disciples and found them sleeping. And he said to Peter, "So, were you not able to watch 1 hour with me? Watch and pray, that you do not enter into temptation. The spirit indeed is willing, but the flesh is weak." Again, going away a second time, he prayed, saying, "My Father, if this cup cannot pass away from me without my drinking it, let your will be done." And coming, he again found them sleeping, for their eyes were heavy. And leaving them going away, he prayed a 3rd time, saying the same thing. Then he came to his disciples and said to them, "Sleep on, and rest for what time remains. Behold, the hour draws near, and the Son of Man is betrayed into the hands of sinners. Rise up, let us go. Behold, the one betraying me draws near." And as he was yet speaking, behold, Judas came, one of the 12, and with him was a numerous crowd, with swords and clubs from the chief priests and elders of the people. And the one betraying him gave them a sign, saying, Whomever I may kiss, it is he. Seize him. And coming up at once to Jesus, he said, Greetings, Rabbi. And he ardently kissed him. But Jesus said to him, Friend, why are you here? Then coming up, they laid hands on Jesus and seized him. And behold, one of those with Jesus, stretching out the hand, drew his sword and struck the slave of the high priest and took off his ear. Then Jesus said to him, Put your sword back into its place, for all who take the sword shall perish by a sword. Or do you think that I am not now able to call on my Father, and he will place beside me more than 12 legions of angels? How then should the Scriptures be fulfilled, that it must happen this way? In that hour, Jesus said to the crowds, Have you come out to take me with swords and clubs as against a robber? I sat with you daily, teaching in the temple, and you did not lay hands on me. But all this is happening that the Scriptures of the prophets may be fulfilled. Then all the disciples ran away, forsaking him. And those who had seized Jesus led him away to Caiaphas the high priest, where the scribes and the elders were assembled. And Peter followed him from a distance, even to the court of the high priest. And going inside, he sat with the under-officers to see the end. And the chief priests and the elders and the whole Sanhedrin looked for false testimony against Jesus, so that they might put him to death. And not any were found, even though there were many false witnesses coming forward, they did not find any. But at last 2 false witnesses came up, saying, This one said, I am able to destroy the temple of God, and in 3 days to build it. And standing up, the high priest said to him, Do you answer nothing? What do these witness against you? But Jesus kept silent, and answering, the high priest said to him, I adjure you by the living God, that you tell us if you are the Christ, the Son of God. Jesus said to him, You said it. I tell you more. From this time you shall see the Son of Man sitting off on the right hand of power, and coming on the clouds of the heavens. Then the high priest tore his garment, saying, He blasphemed. Why do we have any more need of witnesses? Behold, now you have heard his blasphemy. What does it seem to you? And answering, they said, He is liable to death. Then they spat in his face, and beat him with the fist, and some slapped him, saying, Prophesy to us, Christ, Moshiach, who is the one that struck you? And Peter sat outside in the court, and one girl came near to him, saying, You are with Jesus the Galilean. But he denied before all, saying, I do not know what you say. And he going out into the porch, another saw him, and said to those there, And this one was with Jesus the Nazarene. And again he denied with an oath, I do not know the man. And after a little, coming near, those standing by said to Peter, Truly, you also are of them, for even your speech makes you known. Then he began to curse and to swear, I do not know the man. And immediately a cock crowed. And Peter recalled the word of Jesus, saying to him, "Before a cock crows, you will deny me 3 times." And going out, he wept bitterly.